Welcome back to another Tony Montana video. In this video, we are going to cover the history of the American Pitbull Terrier before he actually became a breed. So we are going to go back to the 1800s. We are going to go back to England, Ireland, and Scotland. Scotland isn't really given enough merit for the dogs, but they were influential in the creation of the American Pitbull Terrier. So I do always include Scotland and the dogs in that country that came to the United States. And again, we are going back before the creation of the American Pitbull Terrier. So we are in the 1800s in places like England, in cities in England. There were bear and bull baiting. These shows were done for entertainment of the masses. That included, wealthy people as well as commoners. These events pitted dogs. Many of them were old English bulldogs. They wanted dogs that were big, massive, and can crunch. And they would have them attacking a bear or a bull. And this happened through the years until 1837, I believe, when England passed an animal protection law that banned this type of events, banned dog on bull and dog on bear. Here again, this is just not aggression. This is just telling them, this is mine, claiming it. She is kind of like saying, please, can I get it? And it still got it. Charm won over his aggression. He's like, I don't really want it, but he didn't want it that bad, so it didn't. But again, all the people, not gonna know the detail I was mentioning in my previous video. You have to pay attention how he's truly feeling rather than just hearing the growl. But this is from the previous video. But anyway, so we're in the 1800s. The doggone bull and doggone bear baiting and shows were banned. So they had the individuals that went to these events had to find another way of entertaining themselves. So here they came up with ratting, where they put a dog in, and the contest was which dog would kill more rats in a certain amount of time. So these individuals collected many rats from the city. There were plenty of rats in those cities, and they would have a dog in a sort of pit, and they would throw the rats in that pit, and the dogs would go and kill them. And that was one of the events that were occurring after the bear and bull baiting shows were banned. Now they also started doing dog on dog fighting, but they came up with difficulties because, for example, the old English bulldog would not fight promptly. They would not be keen to fighting its fellow dog, because it wasn't designed to be aggressive towards other dogs. It was more designed to work in groups of dogs to attack, for example, a bigger animal. So these individuals decided to cross terrier dogs with these bulldogs. The terrier dogs, a terrier line of dogs, are known to be dominant-minded. They are easier to persuade to fight other dogs. They naturally do it. So they wanted to keep the strength, and everything positive of the old English bulldog, while adding the tenacity, the willingness, the eagerness to fight other dogs. So they mixed different type of terriers. One was the white terrier, so to speak. I'm not sure if it's the white fox terrier. It's a type of terrier that is now extinct. This is recognized as an extinct breed that was mixed, but it seems to be a very important part of the equation because it was mentioned, a reference and I haven't found too many references of all the type of terriers. If you guys do know all the type of terriers that were included in the mix of the English pit dog, because again, at the end of the day, the result of this mixing was a pit dog, a dog that was willing, able, and eager to fight another dog. These were pit dogs that were mixed between the Old English Bulldog and different type of terriers, and they were later on considered the 50-50s, or the Bull and Terrier dogs, or the pit dogs. So, and this time we're still in the 1800s, still in England and still in Scotland. Scotland, we had not, I haven't gotten too much information from them, but I assume it was a similar way of creating the pit dog. In Ireland, however, I believe they did a different type of mix, because these dogs became red nose, and they became a different type of a mix, but obviously dogs. But I really don't know exactly the mixes that created what we would consider the old family red nose. In Ireland, they weren't called that. They were not called that. They were still regular pit dogs, and each individual, each family had their own dogs that they considered completely different than neighbors' dogs, even though they may have looked very similar. They still may be red nose, but they consider them a different type of breed. But they both were pit dogs. If you guys, any of you know what type of dogs were bred to create the Irish version of the pit dog that we consider now the old family red nose, let us know. I need to do more research on that. But again, I'm here more to educate on the wide spectrum of the American Pitbull Terrier. We'll do more study on, but I need to find places or books that are reliable and not assumptions. So I will do more of that and probably enhance my videos about the old family red nose history later on. So at this point, we had dogs in England, Scotland. Scotland, I think they had a lot of brindle dogs, and I believe the brindle came from that area, Scotland and England. And obviously the red nose dogs are all the red came from Ireland, and then eventually they started migrating to the United States around middle of the 1830s, more or less, 1850s, more or less. They were coming to the United States around the Civil War. The American Civil War, the Industrial Revolution of the United States, they came to places such as Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. Those were places where the Irish immigrants came with their red dogs. So we are proud to say that the red dogs that came directly to my area, to the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts area. They were mixed at one point, but I think I'm gonna leave it at here, because I want to make sure that I am covering all the things. So we are going to leave it at when the Industrial Revolution, Civil War started. Immigrants from all these three countries came to different parts of the United States, but the old family red nose variety came mostly here to Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and New Jersey, because again, these were the places where the Industrial Revolution was kicking butt. All right, so this is where all the businesses, all the all the industries needed people to work in their factories. So they came from there to here, and these dogs were the treasures. Okay, so these dogs were the treasures of the United States, treasure of these immigrants. That were the most valuable possessions they had, and this is where they started testing. They were started testing their animals in the pit. Again, these at this time they were pit dogs. They were all considered different type of dogs, different breeds of dogs, even though they all had the same work for purpose. The purpose of these different type of breeds at that point, because they were considered different type of breeds, they had the same work for purpose, which was at the time dog fighting. And at this time, the dog fighting was really old country rules. I believe that's all that used to be, or country style. These country style meaning that they would release and they would fight until one of them quit. There was no turning. There was no scratch and in turn. None of that was none of that was a rule. None of that was part of the rules at that time. So the dogs developed according to the rules they had at that time, and they were very good dogs. But the second phase of the American Pitbull Terrier was what created what we know today. I'm gonna leave it here. This is Tony Montana. Until next video.